Today's video, we are taking apart and completely rebuilding this pair of Red Wing shoes. They are model number 8052, and they were made in 2014. This guy's owned them from new, so they are 11, very nearly 12 years old before they got their first rebuild, so they haven't seen tons of use. The soles are not massively worn. He just fancied a complete change. So we're fitting the Dainite studded sole in red, brick red, with red heels, and it'll have a leather heel stack if required. Not sure yet what we're going to end up with dimension-wise, and a leather midsole. He's also asked for the split reverse welts with the faux stitching. I think we're going to get to that stage and then offer it up and see how he truly feels once that's all offered up, because these are a 270-degree welt, so that 270 split reverse with a separate heel rand might look a little odd, but we'll offer up and see how it goes. See you in a minute. As you will have just seen, that heel is an absolute nightmare to get off of a pair of Red Wings. That's because they put their heels on with 11 clinch nails. So the nails get driven in and the tips then turn over and hook into the leather footbeds. So there's a machine that does this, and I think they've been using the same machine since they started off from the very early days. So the machine is super, super old, and it does the whole thing at once. So it applies the heel and puts all 11 of those nails in, including clinching over the tips of those nails. I'm not a massive fan of refitting them the same way. So with clinch nails, I obviously don't have the machine, but I could drive them individually. Just because after you've done that a few times, it makes a bit of a mess out of the footbed, because each time you pull it off, these little clinch nails which are hanging on there have to pull through the footbed. So I'd much rather put the nails on from the inside of the shoe and drive them through the heel or heel block, just because it allows me to reuse those same nail holes. So you could do this a lot more often without doing any damage or any more damage to the footbed than is already done when you have to change one of these. So this customer has asked me for new welts, which is fine. Although they don't need new welts, I could reuse the original welts. He's asked for new ones, but I haven't taken everything apart. There's a bit of gemming separation here, which again is pretty normal, and I could just stick that back down. But up here, you can see that movement there is where the gemming has let go the other side of this piece. So that little T section, the inside edge or the outside edge, whichever way you want to look at it, that's come loose. There's also a major error here. So the welt stitching is usually well inside the top of the gemming. I would always try my best to avoid over damaging the gemming, because that does impede some of its structural integrity. But yeah, so here the stitches are right at the base of the gemming, whereas here the gemming has been completely taken away. I'm guessing sanding away, but they've taken it away. So if I was to take this welt off, trying to re-stitch back onto this original gemming would be near enough impossible. Whilst looking at that, I did also spot that here, the upper is missing from this place here. So those stitches, I don't think even go through it, or they are, but only just. So, I might find that I have to move those holes ever so slightly further up in order to be able to put the holes through a solid piece of leather, or change the spacing and go in between those two holes, just so that I can get a decent piece of upper trapped between the welt and the gemming. It's worth noting that these floors are construction floors rather than cosmetic. So once this shoe was finished, you probably would not have noticed that these floors even existed, or you'd have to look very close to find the one of the badly lasted piece of upper that was missing. So it probably shouldn't have made it past quality control, but it has, and it's just bad luck that this customer ended up with them, and then even more bad luck that they ended up with me and I have to resolve it. And the point worth noting is that Red Wing do sell shoes and boots that have got small cosmetic problems that are not impacting on the structural integrity of the shoe. So you still get the same quality shoe, but they might have small cosmetic flaws like messed up stitching or something slightly unsymmetric, or maybe a little leather defect. But generally speaking, there'll be defects that don't affect the longevity of the shoe's life. And you'll know this because they have usually got a punched hole in the tongue, or on like Pecos, you might find it up near the top, near a tab, maybe on the tab itself, there'll be like a small hole, which represents the fact that they were seconds and sold as such. However, these are not seconds. I don't even think you can get seconds in the UK, but these are not seconds. These are just an unfortunate chain of events. Along with the areas that I pointed out on the uppers and the gemming, there seems to be even more. So I don't know what the hell happened with this pair of shoes, but it seems to be just one long stream of problems. So footbeds, the standard 4mm, pretty much everywhere, except for just ahead of where that failure was, they're 2.5, and that isn't from compression, because if you take a point that would be super compressed, like the heel, that's still at 4, and here in the ball of the foot, 3.5. So, I mean, that would be a normal amount of compression, but here, right where the toe was, that's 2.5 millimeters. Also, similar problem here as a spot on the sole down at 3 mil. Yeah, and the leather that this particular footbed was made out of was super, super soft. So the cracking and everything has probably come from the fact that water could make it in through that gap in the upper where it had separated, where it wasn't stitched properly to the gemming. Water has come in through there and has then deteriorated the footbeds more than normal. This is going to be too much stuff to film, so I'm just going to very quickly make him a new set of footbeds from some insoling leather and put this shoe back together and then resume filming. This is the last bits that are weird about this pair of shoes, but the two shanks that came out are different lengths. So I don't know what but I mean, they're wrapped in different material. This is more normal, the blue one, I'm used to seeing that, but this is pretty new. I've not seen them wrapped in white, lightweight fabric before. and for them to be two different sizes, honestly, I couldn't tell you what happened with this pair of shoes. 100% this is not the normal, and this is a particularly odd pair of shoes, or very unfortunate. Just to cover that bit of lasting there, I put a piece of soft lining leather and over that piece that was missing, and then have just stitched it using the post-bed sewing machine. I've stitched that in with a new piece of canvas behind, as you can just see a little bit of it there, to reinforce this one section and stop water coming through there in the future. So that's everything on this pair of Red Wing 8052 shoes. I think these are also known as the Foreman, but don't quote me on that one because I could be wrong. So they have had the full-length studded sole package with a stacked leather heel in brick red with new split reverse faux stitched welting in chocolate brown with red stitches. I also made a set of leather laces to go in here to complement the rest of the leather on the shoe. Overall, really happy with how these shoes turned out, and can't stress enough, that is not normal build quality from Red Wing. This, I don't know how to explain it, like it must have just been The Apprentice or a really rough day for somebody putting these shoes together, because there was just mistake after mistake. All fixed now. Customer's going to be super happy with the result. His shoes are going to be much, much more comfortable than they were before. And in a few months' time, once he's put some more miles on here, I imagine that these are going to feel like slippers, because that insoling shoulder, just handling it, I think that's going to be really, really comfortable. You'll notice that the heel doesn't actually have a great deal of stacking of leather going on. That's because the heel, so the studded heel, has got quite a tall profile, and this shoe has not got much in the way of a heel to it. So to keep everything balanced, it only actually required one reasonably thick piece of leather. I don't know if it's in the video or not, but you'll see that I pretty much remove almost all of the leather in the middle. I prefer to leave that heel area with shape to it. So I would rather have more cork in that area so that you can compress that area than I would take most of the cork away, have a flatter heel, and that would allow me a thicker piece of leather on the heel. There's no need to have a thick piece of leather on the heel, so I would much rather have the comfort of cork. As always, I'll put a link in the description below which will take you to the website where you can find this exact resole package, so the full-length studded sole in brick red with a stacked leather heel. And I will also include in the description below a discount code to get you 10% off of all resoles ordered through the website. You just enter that code in at the checkout stage and it will take 10% off of all of the resoles. See you in the next one.